Hey guys, Infidel 1258. Today I want to talk to you about land and how it's boring. This is a comment that I heard from Yabapmatt while he was being interviewed on the People's Guild. He said 1.5 is actually boring. He feels, I think he was really just trying to make a point that it's going to be so much better. But I didn't like that word being used. And I would argue that both Splinterlands rank experience and yes, the land get labeled in this way because people feel that it should be more engaging. And they sometimes overlook the complexity of preparation and thoughtfulness that it takes to manage the rank experience as well as land. There's a vision for the future that's necessary. And I think if you don't get that, you don't get the joy of playing these things. And so I wanted to push back on Matt's comment. I don't agree. I'm enjoying land. I'm enjoying Splinterlands rank battle. And there's people out there saying this about every part of our game. So I want to push back on this idea. And so I hope you'll stick around and stay tuned for this one. Thanks, guys. And check out People's Guild. I'm going to link their video in the description because that's where this original idea comes from. Okay, guys. Bye for now. There's a great interview with People's Guild with Yabapmatt, and I would encourage you guys to watch it. It's almost 2 hours long, but it was worth it. One of the things I thought was a little bit surprising was Matt's tone and conversation around land. And I think as I say what he said, some of you are going to say, not maybe some of you here, but people who watch this, if I make this a clip, are going to agree. He said land 1.5 is boring. He said it's underwhelming. It's not enough. It's inadequate. It's not, he didn't use all these words, but these are the implications he left me with as a viewer. And I'm not sure I agree, but I do agree in the context of the question. The question was around, is it such a big deal that we bring in 50 new resources or whatever it is, 30, 40, 50 new resources to land? Is that necessary to making land be a product that is desirable? Like, is that necessary in the process of making land what Splinterlands or Steam Monsters wants it to be? And Matt said, well, yeah, it is because land is not in his current iteration what he wants it to be. He actually used that word, that's boring. Now, I know a lot of people think that and agree that, and it's Matt's game. So I mean, like, you might say I'm just wrong for thinking otherwise. I mean, it's his game, his vision. So, but I mean, I do disagree because, look, I get that it's not commanding an hour of my time a day, and sometimes a real meaningful game, the one that you love, like, pulls you in for a period of time. And so you might feel like, look, Dwayne, I barely have to touch it. It's not providing me joy or satisfaction. Okay. Oh, I just disagree. Like, okay, is it like playing a first-person shooter? Of course not. Is it even like playing the rank experience? No, it's very different. When I come in here and click Harvest All, it's relatively straightforward. Click Harvest All. I see how much grain I'm making, how much research, and how much SPS. And the only real thought or consideration that has to happen today in this moment is just how do I press the button, and do I have enough grain to pay for the fees? That's it. And I will admit that is very easy to figure out. But it's not that's not the sole element of what's going on here, is it? There's a complex system of decisions that had to be made before now to get me to this place. Whether it's choosing the right land, whether it's buying them off the marketplace for the right price, getting the cards associated with, that can appropriately equip that land, finding ways to get that DEC. Those are not unrelated. And I think when Matt says stuff like that, he's just being honest. He's trying to be like, he's trying not to be particularly defensive. He's trying not to, this is not what he wants land to become. And so he's just being honest about that. But what I'm saying is, and what I often push against, and I want to push against even now with that tone or idea, is that people who say that land is boring, or people who say that Splinterlands rank battle is boring, do not fully understand the complexity of decisions that are required to get you to a place where you are even enjoying the step that you say is boring. There's a million decisions that get to this place. Again, choosing the right land, finding, not just the right region, the right tract, the right plot, magical, not magical, the right cards for that. All of that those are financial decisions that you have to make across time with planning and preparation in order to maximize what you're doing. And if you play those pathways in a certain way, you can receive more reward for the same time and effort that someone else was. So there's a bonus to you for understanding this stuff, for having a complexity to how you approach it, and a greater understanding to the complexity within it. And a failure to acknowledge that, to me, is a failure to pitch this well. And so, Matt, I don't know if you'll ever watch this, pal, but I just really want to encourage you that, I don't look at it as if pressing claim grain is the game. Lots of the community does. They're wrong. And I say they're wrong boldly because I actually don't want to surrender the idea that this is the fullness of the experience. Claim grain, confirm with my Hive keychain, and then if I have enough grain, claim my research and my SPS. That's not the fullness of what this is. That's scratching the surface, and it dishonors, I think, what this is. And now Matt's not trying to make fun of, dishonor. What he's trying to say is call us into a higher idea of what this could be, right? He's not saying it's boring, don't play it. He's saying it's boring, but just wait and see what we're going to do. And I agree, he's right. It's going to be so much better when there's more resources because the complexity will be ramped up even further. But already there's something to be respected here. And certain minds in this space do not look at it that way. And they are missing part of the picture, a big part of the picture, because all of that preparatory decision working and decision making and thoughtfulness is part of what Splinterlands is, just as it is within the rank experience. If you find the submission of one team, the creation of one team, and that one battle underwhelming, and you say this game sucks because that was boring, you are not understanding the fullness of what it takes to even submit this team. And so at every level, the complexity of what Splinterlands is intertwined with the game within the game, which is the economy. And a failure to see that is a failure to properly understand what Splinterlands is. And I think it's so important that we, as representatives of this game, make sure we understand what I'm saying, because we need to speak to others as we unwind that for them. Because if we don't get it, they will never get it. If we can't articulate why this is exciting, even in its current iteration, yes, we can hold up and say it's going to get better. Just wait and see what they're going to do with new battle rule sets, or new mana caps, or new, the new rank reward. The league, the leaderboards are changing. The way your rank is considered or determined is changing, and all that's going to be exciting. And yes, we can hold that up and say, yes, be excited for the future. We can and we should, but we also need to come in this from a perspective of there's great value already. There's amazing fun here that I'm not sure you fully see. And if you only saw it the way I did, you would have an increased idea of where this could go. Because a failure to understand the interconnection of the financial side is a failure to properly understand what Splinterlands even is. And that's what I'm saying. And so I was surprised he said it that way. Again, I do not believe for a second he dislikes 1.5. Some viewers will hear that though and say, see, Matt even hates it. And I'm saying to you, no, he doesn't. He's trying to be honest about how it's not where he wants it to be. And he knows it's going to be so much cooler and bigger. But from my perspective, that language, it's just not, it's like I would say to anybody I love, I would be like, if I heard my wife saying something bad about herself and giving herself, too much guff about a topic, I would say to her something like I'm saying right now to Matt and to the team, it's like, we don't need to be disparaging to ourselves. We don't need to be, we can be confident in what we're offering because it's meaningful. This is powerful. It's different. It deserves, it's a big deal already. It's putting value into people's hands. And again, it's not just with land. It's not just SPS. With rank experience, it's not just SPS. Often people boil it down in so many ways. And that's one of them. They'll say, just a few SPS here or there. Who cares? It's not just SPS. With the rank experience, you're getting soulbound reward cards that are meaningful and powerful. They help you win more. They're yours and they're limited. All of that matters from a collectability standpoint, from a financial standpoint at some point in the future, etc. But then navigating the economy is so fun, and that's part of it. So I think most of you guys listening today know that, but not everybody does. And so they end up coming at Splinterlands and thinking, they say disparaging things like it's boring. And I do not accept that because I've seen so much joy out of this for 5+ years. And in my mind, that's the tip of the iceberg. I think there's no end in sight for where and how long I could enjoy this, because I actually see it as being really sustainably enjoyable across a long time frame. It's so long as there's not some sort of black swan where the government says like, nope, we're shutting that down because, on whatever basis and however that might look. So to me, I'm very excited, and I just thought that I don't know if you ever see this, but I just thought I wouldn't frame it that way. I would say, look, if you think, because the question was essentially, do we really need 50 new resources? Is that too much? Can we just, pare it back? And Matt was saying, no way, man. Like, that's going to be awesome. We want that fullness. And I agree, we do. Just frame it there to say that, to add the part of, the negative side. I don't think it adds, and I don't think it's even true. I think it underscores or understates the complexity of what this experience is. And so I thought it merited a conversation. What do you guys think? Love to hear your comments.